All right, so I'm doing a update video based on some feedback from my other video. My audio is a little low, so hopefully this is better. But also, I have changed quite a bit since playing Classic about Vuhdo. I was going to go over some more details as well as maybe review a few things in more detail. So, first off, if you've never used Vuhdo before, this is kind of what the general profile looks like. You see this little box down here, that's kind of the healing frame. So in a 40-man situation, this is kind of what it would look like right there, populated. So these are kind of all my healing frames. I have them set up so that, warriors appear this kind of tan color, hunters are green. Basically, they're assigned by class colors. I have headers now on top, so I can more clearly see, like, hey, buff group 7 or something like that. It just makes it easier. I also have these vertically aligned. But just to kind of go back for a second here. Go back. So what I have set up with Vuhdo right now, I've kept a lot the same, but just kind of go over. So I mostly use click to heal. So what that means is, so you can see here, modifier none. So when I just click my mouse on this key, I'll start casting greater heal. There you go. And if I right click, I'll cast renew. And you can put in, do this kind of no space, bracket, rank, space, number, bracket. You can do down ranking, or I think I have an example here somewhere. Yeah, if I just put, so I just had power word shield. If I just put the name of the spell, it'll just automatically use the highest one. So for instance, with bubble, like that. So some other things I wanted to go over here. So that's just a generic for how to kind of set up heal and everything else. So some things I've added since then was, obviously, I have Fear Ward on there now. I have Dispel Magic is still that. Actually, that was the wrong one. I also, just to make it easier to target, because since you're clicking, I have it set up currently so that when I'm clicking to heal a target, I'm not actually targeting that person. That way I can keep my target on, if I'm in PvP or something, I keep my target on that person. Or if I'm in a raid, I can keep a target on my enemy that I'm supposed to kind of, I'm watching for a spell cast or something like that I might need to interrupt or do something about. So, if I, for instance, if I target this guy over here and I heal, I'm not changing my target. So what I did to make it easier to target someone that I want to in my frames is I went over here and assigned to Alt plus Control. If you just type the word target in there, it'll make it, that's what his command, target. But now if I hold Alt and Control and then click, I'll target myself or anyone else in my group. So I just added that to the setup. Some other things I've done. Let's see here, what else? All right, so I've gotten in much more detail, or I've added much more detail in terms of buff tracking, especially for raids and things like that. So I'll kind of go over how to set that up if you're interested. So if you go over to panels and you go over to hot icons. So the hot order here, these are all drop down menus. So you can see here I have Power Word Shield, Renew, Fear Ward, and then I have Fort and Prayer Spirit. So you can see I have these icons down here, so I can see who's got, Fear Ward. If I'm trying to blanket a raid, as we're clearing to a Nixia or clearing up to some boss, I'll probably try to get as many Fear Wards out as possible. Well, it's kind of a pain to see who's got a Fear Ward and who doesn't, so I just made it so that the little icon shows up there to say, hey, this person has Fear Ward. Also, it's really useful in fights like Nixia or in Nefarian or other places. On tanks, obviously, you want to be able to see when they have Fear and when they don't, so you know when to put it on them. I also have Bubble there as well. Obviously, I also have Renew, and just to be clear here, the order that you see happening here, the Shield, then Renew, then Fear Ward, that's based on the slot order I have assigned up here. So you'll see I have Fort and Prayer of Spirit. Well, if I put Fort on myself, you don't see anything. The reason I put these in there is just so I can track when people are like, as we're clearing through BWL or MC or whatever, people are dying and stuff. I want to be able to track who's got the big, long-term buffs. So if I hit Prayer of Fortitude, you'll see Prayer of Fortitude show up. And if I hit Prayer of Spirit, I can see who's got Prayer of Spirit. I get assigned to, do groups, 3 and 4 or something like that. I just want to be able to clearly see who's got what buffs in terms of the long-term, buffs. I don't really care about the other ones. So you might say, how do I set this up? So you're a priest, just for an example, you'll probably have one or two things in here. It'll probably, by default, it'll probably be your shield and your renew or something like that. It might not be your shield. But so the way you can set this up is you go over to general and you go to this tab right here on expert. So the way that you set this up, you can kind of see a snapshot here of how I have fortitude set up. And there's another one for fear ward. But the way you would do it is you essentially start by just typing one in there. So I'll type in fear ward 2 and then hit new, and then it'll clear out all the settings. And then so you hit add, and you'll see this little thing here. And you just type in what you want. So fear ward. And then I'm going to change it to none. Then hit, should have, do I need a space there? There you go, you need a space. Delete that one. So you can see that's what this does. So now here, I just typed in fear ward. You have to get, you know, for like prayer or fortitude, you just got to make sure you spell them right and space everything right. If you don't see the icon pop up here, there's probably an error, or you haven't selected. So if you change it to glossy, it'll just put a little glossy block down here. I want to see the actual icon. So you just go to none/default and it'll swap it over. Then you just hit OK. This is Fear Ward 2 is the title. Hit OK. I shouldn't have hit that actually. Go over here, and now in the drop-down menu, you'll see over here somewhere. Wow, there's a lot of them in here. Hold on. Fear Ward 2. The Fear Ward 2. So now when I have Fear Ward, actually it might not show up because that slot might not be showing properly, or I don't know why that didn't show up. But if you, I think it might be a slot number issue. I might have those pushed off the edge. But regardless, that's how you set it up. It's pretty simple. And it's the same for all of them. So whether you're doing renew or shield or whatever, it's all down in this tab here. So fear ward is here, and let's see, renew or power word shield and weaken soul. That's the old one. I have a new that actually. I forget what it was called. So there's some in here that are for old before I knew about how to do it the other way, but there should be there's fortitude. Where did I put prayer spirit? Prayer spirit's there. I guess I could see them by the icons. Yeah, you can. Well, anyways, so that's kind of just how you set it up. Another thing I did was, you can see here how I have the weakened soul debuff. So one of the things I did was I went into, if you go to debuffs down here and you go to custom, you can turn on things like icon, stacks, timer, animation. You can whitelist, things like that. If you go to visuals down here, so that little icon you see pop up when I get that debuff, that's what this controls. So the scale of the icon, where it's located on the bar, how to fade it, text options, stacks, etc. You can edit all that here. You can change it from one side to the other, and so on. See if it'll pop up on the other side there. Yeah. So that's all I'm doing there. And another thing is, if you go in here, this is an important part right here. So you can select things like removable only, the only buffs that you can remove, duration, movement. So one of the things I noticed I was having issues with was you can have removable only and boss only. If you do boss only, it'll only track debuffs you get from quote-unquote bosses, which some people might want if you don't want to have a bunch of stuff popping up. So like if you're on Chromagus and he's got all the things you have to dispel, all the different aspects, it makes it easier because you'll see him pop up here and so on. You'll also be able to see other people's debuffs, or not debuffs, but like someone else puts a power word shield on a target. I'll be able to see that they have weakened soul, so I know I can't place it on them, and I won't spend 2 seconds trying to spam a shield on them and figure out why it's not working. I have this up because in dungeons sometimes there's debuffs that are really annoying that I want to be able to see easily and remove easily. Or even if I can't remove them, it might be a debuff like Mortal Strike or something on my tank. I'm like, wait, why is these? I'm spamming a low rank heal and I need to go up to a high rank heal because he's got a Mortal Strike icon on him now. Just as an example. So I have that unchecked. If you check that, you'll just see boss fights, but this will kind of take care of everything else if you uncheck that. And I think that's pretty much the main things I've changed since then, other than just layout and profiling. Oh, I guess one of the things I did was, I think the default mana color is something close to what you see up here. It's like a dark blue. If you go to colors and go to powers in here, and you select this, I've just got it more as like a teal, so it's kind of pop, so I can just see. I don't really check my mana via this. I have my number and a percentage when I start losing mana pop up, and I have my mana tick rate and everything going on there. But this kind of helps me to see like, well, okay, I'm low on mana. Am I over healing? I can quickly check other healers in the raid and be like, okay, no, but all the paladins and all the priests we're all about like 20% mana or anything like that. So it makes it easier for me to quick read when you've got a 40-man raid going. It's just a little bit easier to quickly read other. I'll just go over to that real quick. I can quickly see other people's mana, and with all the ground effects and other colors that are going on, I don't have to worry about. I just know automatic. I guess with mage, it's not the greatest contrast, but regardless, you can quickly see where people's mana is at. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, I turned on the group paneling, so if you go over to, if you wanted to do it, I need this. Oh, that's under panel, right? Yeah, headers. If you turn these off, those go away. I have them turned on and kind of scaled and spaced and textured, etc., so that they're not together. I remember, what was it? One of the things that was really annoying me was you had these like kind of strange textures and stuff happening behind it. You just set the width to 0, they all go away. If you have any kind of texture behind that, the names for that, you don't want to have it there, you can just set that width to 0 and it'll just all evaporate. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Most things that's changed. And if you have any further questions, I tried using this buff system they have built in, but it's kind of garbage with the buff watch, I think is what it's called. Yeah, buff watch. I'm not a fan of it. I would just use something else or do like I did and put your buffs on your actual frames yourselves. Yeah. But I hope that was helpful. Again, if you have any questions, I'm pretty bad at looking at my YouTube and trying to get to them, but sometimes I get notifications, sometimes I don't. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I had some people asking for me to post to export this, so I will export this right now. Get that on copy, and I'll put that in, I guess, the comment section. I'm not exactly sure where I'll put it. Maybe I'll put it in like a paste bin and then just link that. But I'll have it so you guys can get it. Thanks.